Pitt and Kevin Bacon. If you haven't seen that movie, talk about a horror show. We'll be back with Eric, Richard, Matt, and more. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. All right, we are back. We're going to finish up with Eric on this side. Then I did find the video file. I wish I cannot find the pandemic document. It's killing me because I had it next to me for probably the last 3 weeks. And Jones did some cleaning in the office, and now it's gone. Rightfully so. I mean, I'm sitting here with a stack of papers like a madman. All right, Eric, what else you got for me, brother?
Also,
yes, sir.
By the way, did you know the black guy from Dave Matthews Band died?
Did he really? From what?
He was riding his quad, and he hit a jump or something and landed upside down and broke his neck.
Oh, that's sad, man. That's really sad,
it was
actually.
like a year ago.
And I'm a big fan of quadding, by the way.
yeah.
If you've never done it, folks, quads are awesome. I only had like a little 250 auto, but you crank it like 60 miles an hour, and I'm bad. I'm dangerous. I don't wear a helmet all the time, but I can see how you can kill yourself on one of those things, no doubt. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, we all know that's very popular in New York. By the way, I'm very happy that there's a New Yorker on hosting the show.
Oh, thank you.
Major kudos to you, Bermas.
Oh, thanks, man.
Anyway,
you know what? It's not that popular in New York, by the way. It's that popular in upstate New York, like where I am with the rednecks. You go down to like, Dutchess County or any of those places, and you're like country boy. You're like, what? What do you mean you're on a 4-wheeler, man? I don't even know what that is. Go ahead, Eric. I'm being an idiot. Go ahead.
Okay. The states, they take money from the federal government. Mm-hmm. That's where this code comes in. Remember I was talking yesterday about Title Code 18?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all these title codes, that tells the states, you have to comply with this if you want money from us. The states force the counties to enforce the law. That's how this works. Mm-hmm. Federal to state to counties. That's how they get these things to fly. And in Pennsylvania, then you have that trickling down to the townships.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you look at what the NLE 09 exercise is going to do. They're going to try to federalize everything. They're going to bring in the federales, DHS, FEMA. Then they're going to go to local governments. They're going to go to state governments. They're going to go to tribal governments. And it's because they want all the power. They want carte blanche. And when they declare a pandemic level 6, you're under international law, which basically says you have no individual human rights, and it's complete insanity. And now we're going to play that clip. I thank you for the call, Eric. We're going to go to Richard, Matt, Brian, and others in a moment. But this is an important clip where they discuss the 3-spot shot mandatory style. Hit it.
But now to report in this morning's Washington Post that the Obama administration is considering implementing a new fall vaccination program against the flu, a plan that would require Americans to get not 1, not 2, but 3 flu shots. Dr. Nancy Snyderman is NBC's chief medical editor. Nancy, good morning.
Hi, Meredith.
Unprecedented this is. How would this work?
Well, here's the idea. On the first Saturday when we knew swine flu was an issue, the Centers for Disease Control held a conference, and we were already talking with those of us who listened in about how you're going to ramp up manufacturing this new vaccine on top of the old vaccine.
Because it takes a lot of time. It takes about 5 months or so.
And the decision was made, if we're going to get the normal flu vaccine to the general public in the fall, to hold it up while we figure out the swine flu was perhaps going to put the entire population at risk. So at that moment, the decision was made, we will go into normal flu production for the normal vaccine like it is.
For seasonal flu.
Right, for seasonal flu. Figure out what the swine flu really is, and then perhaps tag team a second vaccine on top of it.
Okay, so that's why they didn't combine them into one shot, but why 2 additional shots for swine flu?
For the normal seasonal flu that you and I talk about every year, there's a herd immunity to some extent, so you only need 1 shot. The new strain, we've never seen before, so that requires sort of thinking like when we give our babies or their first shot. You get your shot, it boosts up your immune system, and then you need a booster. So for the new H1N1 swine flu, for which there's no known immunity in our population, that requires 2 shots.
I would think because it's hard to get people to take the original.
As we know,
shot,
don't we? Since you don't get your flu shot in the fall.
No, I don't. Okay, fine.
Okay.
I might this year, though.
Good.
But now you're asking people to get 3. That's a tough sell.
Well, Meredith, I think you've hit the nail on the head. This is going to be a public relations, trust your government and your health officials public campaign. Mark my word, you and I are going to be talking about this a lot between now and fall. So I think what the government is likely going to do is is urge people to early on get their normal flu shot and then trust the scientists to say the swine flu is for real, get these other two. Now, we've yet to hear the clear, concise direction from the government, so I don't think we should jump on the bandwagon before we hear what the recommendation is. But if they do believe that this swine flu could be a real uptick in severity, you're going to see a massive public education campaign.
But we trusted the scientists back in 1976 with the original swine flu shot, and a lot of
and it
people
was a
got
debacle.
sick. Right.
Not only that, some people died, some people were paralyzed.
From the shot itself.
And
Yeah.
people remember the swine flu vaccine as a terrible disaster. This government, these manufacturers want to make sure that does not happen again. But you bring up a very important point. Just because something works doesn't mean it's safe. And that rush to market is going to mean that we're going to have to prove that, yes, it will keep people from getting sick, and that the shot itself won't hurt anybody.
Well, actually, you won't have to prove any of that, because if they declare pandemic level 6, and I did find the document, here it is, man, and I had to dig. It is the WHO checklist for influenza pandemic preparedness planning document. And here we are. I'm just going to read section 1.5.1, word for word. Rationale. During a pandemic, it may be necessary to overrule existing legislation or individual human rights. Examples are the enforcement of quarantine, overruling individual freedom of movement, use of privately owned buildings for hospitals, in other words, quarantining your building, your business, and saying we're going to use this as a makeshift center. They'll do that to schools. They'll do that to rec centers. They'll do that to community centers. They'll do that to churches, anywhere where they can have massive amounts of people. Off-license use of drugs. Now, off-license use of drugs means the drugs don't need to work. See, even they're talking about the drug working and then having side effects. No, it doesn't even need to work. Off-license use of drugs. Compulsory vaccination or implementation of emergency shifts in essential services. These decisions need a legal framework to ensure transparent assessment and justification of the measures that are being considered, and to ensure coherence with international legislation, international health regulations. No Constitution, no Bill of Rights, no individual human rights whatsoever. You're not even a person. And they want to stick you in the arm. They want to give it to you good. All right, let's go to who we at. Richard in Nevada. You're on the air, sir.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for taking my call, man.
You got it.
Hey, going on, I need to backtrack here on the CPS issue.
Sure.
I've got videotape of CPS coming up to my house and kidnapping my nephew's son from my house without court order, without warrant. And I just need some advice or help. I don't know.
I mean, if you send us the videotape, and I would do that. If you'll do that, I mean, we'll post it. I mean, that's about the best we could do. I mean, if Alex takes a liking to it, I mean, the man has a family of his own. You know, he's planning on taking some time off in the next couple weeks to be with his family again, which I can't blame him for. If I had a family, I'd want to do the same. But if you send us the video, the best way to do this is contact with a headline. You know, CPS kidnaps my nephew on video, no warrant. I'd put in the headline. Send that to Rob D at Infowars.com and Aaron at Infowars.com. And if I had the P.O. box on me, I would give it to you. Wait, actually, I do have the P.O. box right here. If you want to send us, a dub, don't give us the original one. Make sure you have that, in case you do have to go to court.
A copy.
Yeah, give us a copy. You can send it and put attention Jason Bermas / Rob D. Free Speech Systems LLC, P.O. Box 19549, Austin, Texas 78760. Sound good?
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, and the whole time I was asserting my rights and the Constitution the whole time, and they just ignored me, tried to bully me, threaten me. The police threatened me with obstruction, and they were just really close to attacking me and putting the cuffs on me when I had the camera going, and it was so close. But we're still fighting this, and it's ridiculous the way they play good cop, bad cop between the judge, CASA, and CPS.
Oh, and it's such an act.
They run you around in circles, and all the time they keep the fear in you of taking the child again. Mm-hmm. And that's how they get you to capitulate. And I'm not doing it. I'm not surrendering. I'm fighting it the whole way.
And you need to. It's just like when they offer you your court-appointed attorney, your district attorney right there. He's always with the DA. He's in on it, too. Of course he's in on it. He's talking to the judge every single day. He's having coffee with the police officers. It's all a big show. It's all a big way to... Oh, man, it drives me nuts.
Me too. It's a big game with them for the federal funding, and it's all